So a lot of people asked about this car, so tonight I'd like to just dive right in and basically go over it. So this car is a 1974 Mercury Comet. It come originally out of Memphis, Tennessee. Here's the actual dealership that it come out of. And when I bought it, it was puke vomit green. I'll insert some clips of whenever I bought it. I think I originally bought the car for like $2,800, I believe, $2,500, something like that. To my door with the transporting fees, it was either 28 or 32. I really feel like it was 28 to my door with fees and transporting. I think I had to pay like $500 or $600 to get it brought here out of Tennessee. I decided that I was just going to tear it down and we were going to dive right into the paint. So that's what happened. I started stripping it down, got it to the shop, lifted the car up with a Bobcat, a friend of mine's Bobcat, painted the bottom side of it, and just started taking off with this show car kind of mentality or thought process. And next thing you know, the ball was just rolling really fast. Got it, picked out a color, got it painted, got it back to the house, and that's when I just started ordering parts. Painted the shell of the car, got it back to the house, and once the vision is what I started diving into first. So did stuff, like the tail lights. All the tail lights are actually satin black. So all your panel is satin black around the tail lights are satin black. These are all tinted, they're smoked. So the centerpiece was actually chrome, and it actually is it has the smoke over top of it, so it makes it like a black chrome. You've got your on and off switch over there, your kill switch, your gas cap. The gas cap is just the original from '74 that actually just has a carbon fiber insert that I put in it. The car was a big bumper car, so it had the big bumpers on it because of it being a '74. If you know anything about them, you know that they're ugly with big bumpers, and everybody wants to swap to the small bumpers. Well, being I was kind of leaning towards a show car and a race car, and being on a budget, I didn't want to pay what the small bumpers go for whenever they're in good shape and chrome. So I ordered fiberglass small bumpers and a fiberglass low valence. These were all the starts of the whole drag racing thing. And it was cutting weight, saving money, and go from there. These panels on the back, your extension panels, are actually big bumper panels. So I ordered, listening to everybody on the restoration pages, that if you had a small bumper car, you needed small bumper filler panels. Not true. I guess if you're doing everything swapped, as factory pieces, that's true. But I ordered small bumper filler panels and put them on, and they didn't sit right like I wanted here. I wanted this piece in more so that this was 100% flush here, but I also didn't want to take away from the look of the Maverick and Comets. So that's what we ended up with, is how it sits out like that. And from the factory, it's even way worse. So I closed up a lot of the gaps. But the big bumper filler panel actually goes more down farther, and it's also plastic, whereas the small bumper ones that I had bought was metal. So what I did was I took the 74 plastic big bumper ones that come with the car, so these are original to the car, and I actually cut them to fit on the height. So I think if you do the small bumper ones, they're like more up here. They're not quite as low, and then they have this little weird thing that goes on the bottom as a filler, whereas mine don't have that. Mine's actually all, pretty freaking flush and tight mounted. So that's pretty cool. Is if you do the small bumper swap and you want to tuck it and have a clean look, you can use your big bumper fillers and you go from there. The spoiler, I didn't want to pay again for a grabber spoiler. Fiberglass, I don't want to pay for it, and I don't want to pay for original. Original is crazy expensive, but fiberglass is still like $200-$300. I think there's one for like $180 now, but everybody complains about fitment. If you're buying fiberglass stuff, you need to just be ready to fit the parts. I have no complaints about these. All this stuff is from Unlimited Products, and I have no complaints about the fit. I'm not sitting here, going to cry about it. This spoiler's off of eBay. This was like $100. You ordered it to the length, and the listing actually said the length was like perfect for the width of this trunk. I spent a lot of time researching and Googling a duck bill or a wicker bill type spoiler to find the correct length. I got it. Of course, it was too long. The eBay seller wasn't exactly accurate on his listing, and so I ended up getting some money off of it due to that. But all I did was take it and just cut it down and trim it. You know, you don't really see it much. It does have some double-sided tape, and the camera makes it look way worse. There's what it looks like in person if you put it up to my face. So that's what you kind of see if you're looking the car over. Trunk lid's original to the car. It's 74. It's still all steel. All the glass is original to the car at the moment. The trim is all original. We took the trim and painted it with a satin black. So it's not spray paint. This is actually a base coat, clear coat. I wanted to stay with the glass. I wanted to go Lexan when I originally started to build the car, but I felt like it was just too hardcore racing. So I left the glass in there. My buddy Will, I reviewed his business on my page when we had all the glass out the car, because I completely broke this car down, and I'm going to drop some pictures periodically through this. But we cleaned up the windows and tinted everything out of the car. So the window tint actually goes all the way to the edge of all of these, windshield, everything. And a lot of people were like, you know, the car's beautiful, don't put Lexan in it. And the car came with a, what is it, the inline six? I think it is i6, but it's been years since I've had that motor. 2 years now, like two and a half, two. Come with that, the i6, so I took that out. After that, I kind of was figuring out what I wanted to do. I got on IAA and found a 2015 F-150, and it does have the 5.0 Coyote in it, so I went ahead and purchased the Coyote, and that's the route that we started to take. A lot of people was like, whoa, I hear you, Mr. Big Money, you know, this is going to be expensive. And at the time I was like, yeah, well, it's fine, you know, I'll spend the money. So we bought the Coyote, and I knew I was going to get deep into this, and then I knew the Coyote was going to make a little bit more power, and so now I needed to decide what power adder I was going to go. But the Coyote kind of threw me in a different ball game. I really wasn't ready to play this game that it threw me into. But I dived right in and decided that, you know, I was going to order decent parts. So we got into the Coyote, and I'll go over that more in another video. I was turned on to TKM by a buddy, by Randy actually, and got them to build the motor. So the car started taking a different turn. So I tubed the whole front end, cut the shock towers out of it, did a weird square tube job. It's my first one I have ever done. Bent everything up. I mean, it looked good, but it was a lot of unneeded weight on there because I had no clue what I was doing. With the Coyote, then things started, you know, as I started building that, then the car was looking like it was going to, you know, possibly make, you know, 1,200 horse, you know, run mid fives in the eighth, is what everybody was telling me. And everybody's like, you know, with the combination you've got and the weight you've got, you should be running mid fives once you get the car dialed in. That's when I decided to go back and cut the front end apart, and we'll go over that in another video. So the front's been cut off like 3 or 4 times. Originally when I was building the car for show, I got rid of the mirrors, shaved the mirrors off. It had the chrome trim down the side, down the body line here, and it had the chrome trim up here. All that was deleted and shaved to smooth everything out. The mirrors were shaved off of it. You know, everything was removed to just make it sleek. All the seals were replaced. All the trim, like I said, was painted satin black. So all the trim that goes around here, goes around the window, the trim on the front, all that stuff was just painted satin black. The door handles are original 1974 door handles. They haven't been modified. I thought about changing them, but I wanted to keep something kind of original. And I thought about painting them, but then I didn't want, with grabbing them, you know, to start chipping the paint. So I decided it would just be best to leave the door handles chrome, and they would accent them a little bit with the wheels having some chrome on them. But you know, if you watch my other videos, I'm already talking about changing the wheels too. The billet specialties were actually the first piece to the car that I bought that was a serious price tag. I think I paid like, oh man, dude, I'm probably gonna mess this up. I think it was like $1,800, $1,900 for just the rims. No tires or nothing like that. And I was pretty proud of myself because this was like the first big purchase that I had made, you know, for this car. And I was listening to everybody on the Maverick pages, you know, that a 15 by 10 was what you needed to clear it. And this, at that time, I didn't have the car tubbed. I didn't have the car back half, so that's what I went with. And I was able to make the modifications. I did move the leaf springs in and make the cop modifications to clear all that perfectly fine. Later, the more I learned, the more I progressed, which is going to be the common theme to this story, the back of the car got cut out of it, and it went to a 4-link, which it is now, and we'll go over that in another video. But I was pretty stoked on that, and then it come down to the front wheels. The front wheels, I didn't want to match them, you know. I really liked the way these looked, and these are the ones that I wanted, so this is what I went with. I originally had bought a, what was that? I think a 27.5 inch diameter tire, and then brand new tires, brand new wheels, 17-inch wheels, and then that's when I later learned that the 27.5 inch tire actually hurts you on like reaction time and stuff like that. That you actually want a smaller tire to help out your reaction time, and so I switched it up at a later date and ordered the 26-inch tire. When I first built the car, which we'll go over this in the suspension video also, I went with a Mustang 2 front end on it because a lot of people, this was the most affordable, and I actually got a pretty good deal off of an eBay kit on the Mustang 2 stuff. Doors are the original steel from '74, and they have had an extreme amount of weight took out of them. So the crash bars have been removed out of them. The whole bottom of the door, which actually we'll go ahead and show you. Let me turn on the light. Bottom of the door, we actually basically did what they call speed holes, I think is what old school guys refer to it as. So the door has been hole sawed like crazy to pull weight out of it. So I have the weight in my phone, and I'll have to pull that up to get the numbers and let you know, but I pulled all the weight out of it. So I pulled the crash bar out of it, and just every ounce of weight. I scraped all of the sound deadening material out of the doors to pull all that weight out, and just removed literally every ounce that I could remove. There's the spot welds where they were drilled out right there for the crash bar, to get the crash bar out of it, because the car was getting a cage. Original latches, I didn't paint them, so they're original from '74, which is pretty cool. And then the strikers are original from '74, and a lot of people busting my balls about them, how I taped them, but I didn't want to move them, didn't want to disturb them. The door jamb sticker is original from '74. I taped it also. I didn't want to remove it and put it back on. I wanted to leave some original stuff with the car. And the door seal plates are all original from '74. So the screws were replaced on the door seal plates, but the actual plate itself was all original. Original door hinges are on the car right now, but I do have another set that I will be modifying to possibly have it where the doors can come on and off, but they weigh a lot. So I'm torn against, replacing them with some race style ones, or just modifying these. Yeah, I'm on the fence. If I do it, I'll make a video with it. The door cranks are original from '74, which is kind of a cool touch, and the door handles are original from '74. The door cards are aluminum. Obviously, that did not come with the car, and they are airbrushed a ghost pearl flame, so that is like a silver, ghost flame. But that's the gifs of the door. So the weight on them, let me grab the weight and I'll actually show y'all or tell you real fast. So we're gonna jump over here. I'll pause the video real fast. So the door, when it was loaded, as in if you pull your door off right now and weigh it, door weighs in at 90 pounds, completely loaded with glass regulator and everything. When you strip your door down, meaning you unbolt everything that you can unbolt off of it, you don't cut anything, you don't light anything on fire, you just unbolt everything, you're going to have a door shell that weighs 61.8. When you take your crash bar out, that means you drill all the rivets, you cut the crash bar into 3 pieces. I'll try to post a picture. You remove your crash bar, and then you take a torch or a small settling torch kind of thing, and you melt out all the sound deadening material. you're going to get your weight down to, let's see here, 44.6 pounds by stripping the door out. That means, and taking a hole saw, took a hole saw to the inside behind the door panels to everything that I could get a hole saw in. When you cut as much weight as you can out the door, I was able to get it down to 44.6. That right there, on the shell alone, this is all I weighed. The bare shell, I dropped 17.2 pounds off the bare shell, okay? No glass, no window regulator, no door handles, nothing like that. But just the shell itself on a 1974, I was able to strip 17.2 pounds out of that door for completely free. The window regulator, I believe I got my weight on it wrong, but I did weigh it. The regulator came in at 6.8 ounces, 6 pounds, 8 ounces. When it come out of the car, I drilled the regulator with a, just normal drill bit. Everywhere I could fit a hole in the metal regulator, I put a hole in it and got it down to 5.15 pounds. So that's almost a pound that I drilled out of the window regulator on the driver's side. It just wasn't working. So the passenger side is actually not drilled, but I didn't lose no strength or nothing like that. We can move on to the hood. Let me put the hood up and then we'll go over the hood. So the hood is the original hood, like I said. It's got the original trim on it. It had no rust in the hood. The emblem was stolen off of it whenever I bought the car, so I purchased another emblem off of eBay and put the carbon fiber insert into it. Painted the trim satin black to match the rest of the car. Painted the hood, of course, to match the rest of the car. And before I did all that, I decided I was going to pull some weight. So being the front end is tubed, and I got rid of the original latch mechanisms, we did go with the Zeus push button style releases. So when they close, they actually pin into here. And then I have not installed the other one because the front end of this this is not finished. I'm still actually working on mounting things to the removable front end. But these are still functional from the first mock-up, because like I said, I've cut the front off of this car 4 times, I believe. So I come in here, cut all of the inner structure out of the hood. So this is the inner structure, and then you can actually see where it's actually been cut right there, okay? So there's the cut. So all of your inner structure has been removed. This right here is, let's see here. This right here is where the original steel stops. So this is all part of the hood. This is part of the original steel. It was ripped right there, cut, lengthways with a cutoff wheel, and then aluminum was added. So this is aluminum right here. This is steel right here. Of course, you can't weld aluminum in there. So what I did was use the panel bond trick that I have showed in other videos. There's a certain panel bond that will stick aluminum to steel and fiberglass and everything else. So I actually panel bond the aluminum inside that little groove of the steel to give it some strength on the edge and to give me something to drill the mine went blank, the Zeus fasteners turns. These were bump stops on the original setup. They used to hit a bar that was right here when I first tubed the front end to just help keep the front end, but they're no longer used. These are also aluminum tubing that was panel bonded to the hood. So you can see they're just like a 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch, I think. And they're arched and panel bonded the full length of the hood to give it brace whenever, to help it with strength whenever you pick it up like that. Down here, you can see where the inner structure was cut out. So this is what's left of the inner structure. It was panel bonded back to itself instead of welding. Panel bonded it back, and then you can see where a lot of the inner structure is cut out right there. You can kind of see it. Light's a little dull. I'd have to turn the camera back on. It's also all aluminum up here that's panel bonded. So all around the edge has been aluminum panel bonded beside the nose, because there was enough meat left on the nose right here to keep it where it's got some strength. But that's the hood, right now. And when it's closed, it locks perfectly fine, but it's basically just like a race hood. The hinges are original to the car, 1974 hinges, but they have been painted, so you can tell that the front end stops right here. That's all original. Everything else has been cut off and tubed. All I did on this to hold up to get rid of your hood prop, because you have a hood from the factory, is I drilled a hole through the hinge and then put one of these pins in So whenever you pick the hood up, you just stick this pin through the hinge and it locks itself in position. And when you take it off, I leave this clip on there, and you can just clip it to the fender or hang it over your strut or your suspension travel limiter. The hood, let's see here, the hood originally weighed in at 42.4 pounds. The mounting plates, if you look inside your hood where your hinges bolt to the hood, up inside here, there's a real thick plate that basically what they did was took steel and drilled and tapped it for the bolts to bolt into instead of having like a nut in there. That plate alone weighs 1.2 pounds. So 1 pound, 2 ounces for each. So that's one pound on this side, 1 pound on that side. So throwing your plates out is 2 pounds off the hood right there. And then all I did was took body clips, fender clips, which I don't have none that I can see right here. But it's, let me see if I got one, because I want to show y'all just in case anybody has a question. You know, I'm trying to help everybody out and not leave anything unanswered. I don't think I got one laying out. It basically looks like this. This is a little screw one, okay? So it's the type, you know, where you've seen it that the bolt goes back into itself. That's for like a speaker or something. But it basically has body clips on it that these bolts go into, and that dropped 2 pounds out of the hood right there. So if we jump back to where I was at, the hood weighed 42.4 pounds, and with everything cut out of it, all the inner structure cut out of it and stripped out of it, I was able to get the hood down to 27.6 pounds. Now, the Maverick Man carbon fiber hood, I was having a conversation the other night with a gentleman who said that it's not race weight, that he has actually got a carbon fiber hood and the bottom of it is reinforced with fiberglass, and it weighs in at 19.7 pounds is what he's heard. Them together, stripping out your hood, cutting the structure out, you do have to buy the panel bond and aluminum, I guess, and stripping out what you can out of your door. I was able to drop 32 pounds out of the door and the hood together, 32 pounds off the car right there for pretty much free with, you know, some work, especially on the door, being the whole bottom of it is drilled out. But that's a little bit of information for you. The windshield wipers have been removed to drop more weight. I do have the weight all the way down to the ounces on all that. I didn't write it down when I paused this video, so I thought I was going to go over that in another video, and maybe I'll put it on the interior video. And if y'all are probably seeing a reflection how bad my car is scratched up, I don't take the best of care with it. You know, I know it looks beautiful, but I'm actually pretty rough on it. You know, I'm trying to make sure I covered everything. The drip rails had trim on them from the factory. All of that was removed, and these were just painted. The chrome pieces that go back here were painted, so they are still retained and on there. Like I said, all the chrome trim was deleted off. The car had no rust in it. Floorboards weren't rusted. The car did get a back half on it and basically a front half. Fenders are original. They're still. The headlights are just regular 7-inch, you know, headlights. I have a lot of people always asking on the Maverick pages, you know, where'd y'all guys get your headlights from? Dude, these are like the same ones for Jeeps or anything. If you the original buckets, but they have been done in carbon. So they were hydro dipped. We do have a hydro dipping tank, and we do hydro dipping for ourselves. These pieces around the edge were done in satin black to match the hood trim. And this is the original grille to the car, but it was also done in carbon. So the pieces right here, your grille is actually satin black on the top, and then all the faces are in carbon. You know, so the little subtle details. The parking lights, I was going to smoke them, and I told the wife, and she was like, why can't you leave anything on the car alone? You know, just leave some stuff original. So I left the parking lights untouched for her. Like, they literally have the bulbs from, you know, back whenever in them. The factory wiring is in them. The chrome has not been cleaned up. It is pitted. You know, nothing has been painted. The round it hasn't been touched up. It has the original screws from 74 that I'm aware of in it. You know, that's another piece of the car that's been untouched from 74. It's a pretty cool little piece of info. The bumper, we went over in another video how I mounted it. I haven't finished it. And then you've seen the video on the valence. We did do this. I do have a little Jesse James in me. I do like the metal works and the custom stuff, and I do like spider webs to a certain extent. I used to watch Orange County Choppers growing up, so we did some custom touches in here when we originally tubed the front end the first time, and then when I changed the front end up, This was a piece that Mike actually really liked because he tigged, you know, these little pieces and we bent them together and did it. So I cut that out and moved it onto this new setup. I think I pretty much covers the exterior. I mean, all the original lights are there. I did not shave these out of the panels. You know, they're in the quarter panels, and then they're also in the fronts. They have been smoked, and the lenses have been smoked. You can still see the lights. They do still work, but the trim is all satin black. Man, I think that pretty much sums up the outside. If y'all have any questions, let me know. Lock tumblers or whatever, all of that is original from 1974. That takes the original key to the car. The trunk lid, unfortunately, was removed. The lock was removed out of it, so I had to replace that with the aftermarket one. But it still does work just like normal. We can go into the trunk real fast. I've actually already showed that in another video. The trunk lid does still have the original arms on it, you know, with the original shocks to hold it up. This is the original deck lid. It's just been painted, and I'll show y'all actually something cool if you made it this far in the video. There's what color the car was. So you only see this if you made it this far in the video, because of course I'm not painting way up there. So I redid all this with bed liner, and when you look in here, and I never touched up where we torched the wheel wells out of the car, and you can see a little green right here where I taped it, back taped it. But yeah, that's what color the car used to be. So that's still little pieces of the car left here and there. Watch the video on the trunk if you want to know what's going on with that. The radiator is actually under the floor. I have a whole video where I cut the whole rear of the car out again. Well, first time I cut that section out, I'd already cut the back seat out. All that's been cut out. If y'all want to let me know in the comments right now, this would be pretty cool to help me out, is a vinyl top. So I like the cars with vinyl tops, but the Mavericks and Comets had this weird thing where there was trim right here, and then it went across here, and it was like vinyl here, and vinyl all up here, but not like right here. I don't want to do that. I want to get the chrome trim for the car that goes like this, or what I'll do is do a vinyl top and then actually do aluminum, get custom bent aluminum flat stock basically, and have it where decorative screws or basically like rivets to match the Lexan when I go the stainless steel screws in the Lexan, because I'm going to do tinted Lexan. I've actually ordered it. It's actually in Wilmington on the UPS truck, but I'm thinking about going vinyl top. A little iffy because I'm a flux mount, so flush mount the Lexan. So I don't know if I want to deal with, you know, getting the vinyl top back. There's just another piece of the puzzle. And, you know, then you got to add a little more weight in glue and vinyl. But what do y'all think about doing a vinyl top basically right there, and then up over the car and then down to 8 pillars? I think it looked pretty cool, but I don't know. It does add weight. Most people out there would destroy me. I mean, 1,000 horsepower ain't nothing. I mean, this car is literally nothing. It's going to be fun, but it's not nothing to write home about. So I'm thinking grudge racing would be a cool fit. You know, I do like the community. I follow Triggerman a lot on YouTube and love all of any videos that he's in, but you know, you can also make money, and it would go good with my lifestyle and the lifestyle of the channel as far as hustling. You know, so hustling a little for some grudge money would be pretty cool, but we'll see where the future takes us. Y'all will watch me grow. You'll watch me figure all this out. You'll watch the first passes with the car. You'll get to see everything. I'm going to take y'all along the whole process. Anyway, if y'all made it this far, I'm blown away and surprised, but hopefully it's helped some of y'all Maverick Comet guys. So I told y'all I had the original build sheet. Let me show y'all this real fast. So that's the original build sheet from the car. Let me cut this camera. Cut the light off a minute, I'm sorry. So that's the original build sheet of the whole entire car. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Like I said, let me know if you have anything else. Like, comment, subscribe, share. I'm going to shut up and close this out, stop boring y'all. And I greatly appreciate y'all's support. Again, you have no clue how much it means to me, and I'm blown away this many people is interested in this journey or my daily life. But I'm going to keep putting up the videos and keep giving y'all footage as long as y'all keep liking it. If I'm irritating everybody or bugging everybody on the internet, then I'll absolutely quit YouTube. But as long as I'm getting positive feedback, I'll keep going, and I'll keep sharing and trying to help others as much as I can. Appreciate it, y'all.